Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever had a day where nothing seems to go right? You burn your toast, you're late for work, you spill coffee on yourself, you're trying to ask that nice girl out, and your crack is showing? Like at every point, it feels like the universe is just flipping you off. Yeah, that's how everybody at Ubisoft feels right now. I have never seen a more cursed development cycle, cursed PR cycle, or cursed marketing cycle than what has been going on with Assassin's Creed Shadows. At every point, it seems like this game is caught up in some controversy, stumbling over itself. I've used this Jim Leahy clip 3 videos in a row now. How am I still finding uses for it? If you want to look at a developer that cannot get out of its own way because of just sheer incompetence, look no further than how Ubisoft has handled Assassin's Creed Shadows. And the game isn't even out yet. So I thought, hey, there's been a lot of controversy with this game, and since I'm seriously considering playing it and reviewing it, despite me making a promise to myself that I wouldn't buy it, why not talk about the extracurriculars before it launches? I'm not breaking anything right now. I'm good, right? Today, I want to compile every single instance where the game has gotten itself into hot water, and every instance it has been called out for its inaccuracies and straight buffoonery. So, let's not delay any longer. Strap in, boys and girls, and let's get down to business. It all started May 15th, 2024, when the official reveal trailer for Assassin's Creed Shadows dropped, which revealed that the game would have 2 protagonists, Naoe, a Japanese shinobi, and the guy who would become public enemy number 1, Yasuke, an African samurai. Now, to understand why this was such a big deal, Assassin's Creed fans have been wanting a Japanese setting for years and years, and we never got it. So we finally get it. We finally show up in Japan, and we're playing as a black character.
That just makes no fucking sense. I mean, it's just bullshit.
But the defense for this by Ubisoft was that this was the first historical protagonist, as Yasuke, according to historians, was a real-life retainer to Oda Nobunaga, and the first ever black samurai. No. Cut the shit. Everybody worth their salt knows exactly why he's here. This wasn't a creative decision. He's here for diversity points. Come on, buddy. This is Ubisoft we're talking about. Creative and them don't have anything to do with each other. Don't believe me? June 10th, the extended gameplay trailer comes out, and, yeah.
Greed cannot rule this village. Not while I have breath in my lungs and a blade in my head.
I said kill him!
What the fuck was that?
A hip-hop beat. A hip-hop beat? Really? A hip-hop beat when Yasuke starts fighting in feudal Japan. I genuinely don't know what to say. How did they think this would go over? They really are just virtue farming. But the problem wasn't necessarily the fact that he was in the game. Yasuke's been in other forms of media like Afro Samurai. He's a boss in the Neo games. Pretty decent one, by the way. But the fact that he was referred to as a historical protagonist, Ubisoft stamping that he was a real person, even though the fact that he was a samurai is a point of contention among historians. Which brings me to the guy that Ubisoft consulted with on this history, Thomas Lockley. Thomas Lockley is a British historian, the grandfather of the Yasuke history, or at least the point that he was actually a samurai. He co-wrote the book African Samurai, The True Story of Yasuke, and he brought the idea of Yasuke to the mainstream, let's say. Yasuke's appearance in media stems from his work, so obviously when you're putting Yasuke in your video game, you're going to consult with the man who supposedly has the most knowledge of him. Well, turns out, Lockley's been telling some lies. A couple historians that Lockley said had fact-checked his book came out and said, no, it wasn't really a fact-check, he just asked our opinion on some things. And it turns out that Lockley himself was editing Yasuke's Wikipedia page with his own papers as sources before his book even came out. So most of the information that normal people or lazy-ass Ubisoft would reference comes from a source that is now seen as shaky at best. Which leads to July 10th / July 19th. Nihon University in Japan, where Lockley worked, launched an investigation into his historical accuracy. Even Japanese politician Satoshi Hamada took an interest in finding out what the hell's going on here. Because of all this backlash, Lockley scraps all of his social media and disappears from the face of the earth. Do you know how funny that is? Ubisoft, on a mission to score some diversity points, unintentionally nuked a historian's entire career and made him the subject of a potential government investigation. Only Ubisoft can do this. But on the bright side, at least they exposed the con, so at least some good was done. I could see Lockley pulling the Scooby-Doo. I would have gotten away with it too if it hadn't been for you meddling kids. But okay, now the mask is off, and all that Yasuke historical crap was up in flames. But this is not the end. In fact, the downward spiral starts here. This whole marketing cycle shows that Ubisoft either doesn't give a shit about Japanese culture or their historical consultants are idiots. Spoiler alert, it's probably both. Let's go back a bit to June 10th again. Ubisoft gets called out for a piece of concept art that has a soldier holding a banner. Turns out, that banner is used by the Sekigahara Teppo Corps, a Japanese reenactment group, and Ubisoft took their design without permission. Oh, but it gets worse. July 13th, at the Japan Expo, Ubisoft's booth showed off Yasuke's sword. Oh, I'm sorry, slip of the tongue. They showed off Zoro's sword from One Piece.
He copied my whole fucking flow! Word for word, bar for bar!
Yeah, they straight up plagiarized again. These guys really are shameless. Like, how do you think nobody's gonna figure this out? You're a multi-billion-dollar company with every gaming eye on you just waiting for you to mess up, and you gave them the easiest ammo ever. But here we have a bit of quiet because Ubisoft is marketing Star Wars Outlaws, so Assassin's Creed goes back to the shadows. Turns out Star Wars Outlaws flops hard, and I get done ripping that game a new asshole. But we're back, September 12th, when Ubisoft puts out the World trailer, and it generally looks pretty good. Oh my god! Most of the trailer looks pretty good. Ubisoft is best at making beautiful worlds, so obviously this is gonna look good. But something doesn't seem right. The comments are a little suspicious.
This has been botted without a shadow of a doubt. I'm 100% certain that it's been botted. So if you look at every single positive comment, they are within 4.9 to 5.1 thousand likes. And every single one of them is being made by an individual with a first name, last name, number combination. Ashley Skinner, 5311. Another 4 hours ago. And this is again, Stephen Burgess, 3023, 4 hours ago. Again, are we all watching the same trailer? This looks incredible. 4 hours ago. Assassin's Creed Shadows, They Could Never Make Me Hate You. 4 hours ago. I love that they went with dynamic weather. I love when games do this. Lamar Lewis, 4018, 4 hours ago. 4 hours ago, 4.9 thousand likes. Every single one of these is the exact same. This is insane.
Hey boss, we have all this extra money. Shouldn't we use it to optimize things even more? Nah, pay for bot accounts and flood the World trailer. That'll get them off our backs for a while. Naturally, everybody in the comments started calling it out. Ubisoft, how fake do you want the comments to be? Yes! I am a bot account paid to post a positive review, but after looking at the trailer, I've changed my mind. I have standards. But what really started the rolling boulder of people calling out little historical inaccuracies, you know, apart from the massive one that's hanging over this game, September 14th, YouTuber Dash Blue puts out a video called Drunk Japanese Hyper-Analyze Assassin's Creed Shadows Duo Trailer, and him and his wife proceed to call out every single inaccurate thing that's shown off and said.
If Yasuke is so damn smart, why is he writing at the end of the scroll like this?
っていうか向き違うよね。
You do not write this way on the scrolls like this, bro.
次の漢字書けねえじゃん。
You write from here down, and then you work your way to the left towards the roll.
For some more context, the original trailer is almost 6 minutes. His video is 21 minutes. That's how much stuff they had to say. And that's one trailer. Who's the other historian they consulted with besides Lockley? Hold on, let me take a look here. Sachi Schmidt-Hori. Alright, what are your credentials? Let's take a look. Associate Professor of Japanese Literature and Culture at Dartmouth. Okay. I am interested in literary and pictorial representations of gender, sexuality, and class in pre-17th century Japan narratives. Okay. As well as analyzing the modern meta-narratives thereof. My first book, Tale of Idolized Boys, Male-Male Love in Medieval Japanese Narratives, is on medieval Chigo Monogatari, Buddhist acolyte tales, which often depict romantic relationships between Buddhist priests and adolescents. What? What? No way! No way! Are you kidding me? This is the woman you hire? This is who you bring on as a history consultant for an Assassin's Creed game? For a culture that is pretty damn proud of their history? Oh my god. You guys deserve to fail. Okay, calm down, calm down. We're not done yet. But if you thought all of this was bad, it would only get worse with what is by far the climax of all this controversy. September 19th, a mini figurine of Naoe and Yasuke is put out, with Naoe standing on a one-legged torii gate. There's just one problem with this. The one-legged torii gate is a monument in Nagasaki that commemorates the atomic bomb dropping in World War II.
You've got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah, when Nagasaki was destroyed, this was one of the only things left standing. A symbol that represents the worst moment in Japanese history, and Ubisoft put it in a figurine to market their game.
Y'all smoking crack! Something is wrong with you people!
If you didn't think Ubisoft gave zero shits about background research for this game, what the hell do you have to say about this? Whoever was in charge of commissioning this thing, I hope they were fired. The fact that you didn't know about the significance of this shape, or God forbid didn't care, is unacceptable. And I'm not even Japanese. This would be like if they made a Metal Gear Solid game and put out a figurine of Snake standing between the Twin Towers. It's that bad. I'm astonished that you could be this bad at historical context when Assassin's Creed has been one of the best franchises when it comes to capturing the culture and aesthetics of different time periods. Like, where the hell are your consultants? Is Sachi writing about Buddhist ass to mouth again? All this comes to a head on September 25th. Ubisoft announces that Assassin's Creed Shadows is delayed to February 14th, back from its original November release date, and all pre-orders would be refunded. In the press release, it states that while the game is feature complete, the learnings from the Star Wars Outlaws release led us to provide additional time to further polish the title. Translation: we were gonna release AC Shadows in a buggy state with shit AI and fix it later, but everybody got angry at Star Wars Outlaws for doing that, so we're gonna take time to actually finish the game. I mean, at least they're doing it. They say it's because of that, and I have no doubt that they worked on that during the delay, but this was more, dude, just get us out of the spotlight. We need time for this to blow over. People need to forget about this. Along with this, October 21st, Ubisoft announced that the early access would be canceled and the collector's edition would drop by $50. I mean, they really had no choice. October 29th, the game's executive producer, Mark Alexis Cote, reveals in an interview at the External Development Summit that, you know what? I'm just gonna let him say it.
One of the things that I've noticed since the pandemic is that we have a lot of juniors in our teams, and I don't know if this is something that's your case as well, but the seniority has lowered globally, and probably half the team that's building an Assassin's Creed is building a game for the first time, so they don't know.
Can you say that again?
You know, that actually makes a lot of sense. You got junior developers who have never made a video game in their life working on the biggest franchise in your portfolio. Remember in my Star Wars Outlaws video where I said that you gotta start asking whether the Ubisoft devs just aren't talented? Bro, I think we just got our answer. What the hell kind of management is this? You don't have newbies start on the big projects. You give them something small to get their feet wet. That has a focused scope and stuff like that. Where was all the senior talent? Did they just leave? I mean, I wouldn't want to stay on a sinking ship, so I guess. November 21st, the Shadows Steam page announces that it will have Denuvo and Ubisoft account linking. Now, I'm not an expert on Denuvo, I just got my first gaming PC, but from what I've read, everybody hates it because it tanks the game's frame rate and comes with a bunch of other technical problems, so a little more salt in the wound to everybody who wants to play on PC. December was kinda light, nothing really major, until January 9th. Ubisoft announces that Assassin's Creed Shadows will be delayed again to March 20th. Its second delay in 4 months. They probably looked at how stacked February was, looked at how many units it needed to sell, and were like, yeesh, this was not a good idea. But, funny story about that date. March 20th is also the same day of the Tokyo subway sarin attack, the worst terrorist attack in Japan's history, where toxic gas called sarin was released on 3 different metro lines, killing 12 people and injuring thousands. My god, how does this keep happening? Now, to be fair, March 20th is also Vernal Equinox Day, which is a Japanese holiday that celebrates the start of spring, so it could have been there for that. But like, how many times now? Do some goddamn research. And also, around this time, January 25th, people started to notice that Yasuke was being scrapped from a lot of the promotional material. You didn't really see as much of an emphasis on him, including on the pre-order banner on the game's website, where it just became Naoe. Although I've checked it since, and the banner's back to its original, so I have no explanation for that. Apparently the reason for the delay was to severely reduce Yasuke's role in the story, but we won't know for sure until launch. Now as we get closer to the release window, more gameplay and in-game screenshots are shown, and this period to present day when I'm recording this, the social media pile-on starts to happen. January 24th, during a developer showcase stream, the devs try to pet a dog, but they can't because of a bug. It does say work in progress, but it's still funny. January 28th, it was discovered that the game has a female sumo wrestler, which wasn't allowed back then, but alright, AC takes a lot of liberties. This we could just laugh off, right? Well, to make it worse, the female sumo wrestler has an ability called Rikishi, which in Japanese text literally translates to strong man. I think the localizers were out for lunch. By the way, this was recently called out because the art book was leaked a few days ago, and it calls her a Buddhist monk. And in the Buddhism religion, monks are the title given to men, while the women are just called nuns. So you can't even call her by her appropriate title. What is nun seen as too feminine or something? It can't be this bad. January 29th, a fan account on X posts a screenshot of the game to promote it, but Yasuke's rifle is clipping through his helmet. But alright, that's not that big of a deal. It's a fan account. But another historical inaccuracy in this is that the game has watermelons for sale with cherry blossoms blooming. Now, apparently in Japan, watermelons are not grown in the same season as cherry blossoms. I feel like if you've consulted with any person from Japan, they would have told you this. January 31st, another controversy emerges when it was discovered that you could destroy religious shrines in the game, as YouTuber Scott shows here, and people aren't happy about the disrespect. Now, personally, I think this isn't a big deal. You can destroy a lot of things in Assassin's Creed. It adds to the realism, and you're not forced to do it. It's a player control thing. They're the ones that choose to do this. I don't think anyone would really find a problem with this. Never mind, February 20th, officials at the Atate Hyozo Jinja Shrine in Japan announced that they are taking appropriate action against AZ Shadows after the clip went viral. According to Sankei News, the shrine's representatives said that they weren't contacted by Ubisoft to ask for its inclusion, and if they did ask, they would have refused. It just doesn't stop! February 24th, Ubisoft partners with online coffee site Mandrinus to release Assassin's Creed themed boba tea. Pretty cool promotion, seems to fit pretty well, until you realize that boba tea is from Taiwan. It's not Japanese. Hey, how about we don't put our company in a position to be mocked again? Now, you might think that these things that are being called out on Twitter are nitpicks, dogpiling, just stuff that's being called out because it's Ubisoft and nobody likes them. And that may be true. There's more of a skeptical eye when it comes to them. But when there's this many dots on the graph, eventually those dots have to make a line. And that line is, nobody at the studio knows what the hell they're doing, and nobody did their goddamn homework. But the cherry on top of all of this is that after all the backlash and all the humiliation and mockery that Assassin's Creed Shadows has had to deal with, God has one more RKO through the table to deliver to Ubisoft. On February 24th, same day as the boba tea, the entire game is leaked. People had gotten a hold of the game for PS5 early and had already started posting footage and spoilers, and as Ubisoft themselves acknowledged, it was all real. I'm pretty sure this was a miscommunication between Ubisoft and PlayStation, because usually when you try to play an early version of a game before it releases, the system won't let you, but since the second delay was so last minute, PlayStation wasn't told in time and couldn't update their date or software or whatever they got going on. I'm no tech whiz, but that had to be the reason. I haven't gone looking for this stuff, but it's out there, so be careful. I would say that this is the final kick in the balls to Assassin's Creed Shadows, but honestly, I don't know if it is. I'm recording this on March 10th, and for all I know, something else can come up during the making of this video, because that's how much bad luck has come with this game. I don't think we will ever see a PR cycle this cursed for a game. At least I hope we don't. It's really hard to top this. But Ubisoft's future is on the line with this game, and everything has gone wrong at every step of the way. This launch will be one of the most important all year, and I can't wait to see how this goes. Which leads me to end with this. After careful consideration, thinking about my former Assassin's Creed fandom, and how it's impacted my love for gaming. After much thought and much pondering and all the other words in the dictionary that mean the same thing, the purpose of this video was not just to document all the blunders of Assassin's Creed Shadows, but it is a video to let you know I will be breaking my promise and I will play Assassin's Creed Shadows on March 20th, and I will be making a video on it. But I encourage you all not to buy until you hear the consensus, and if you do, get it on Ubisoft Plus and then cancel when you're done, because this company does not deserve $70 in the state that it is in. So, that's all I gotta say on this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Peace!